have come and gone, and the Rose has been here. And believe you me, it has certainly helped those of us who are coming of age, as it were, in the early 80s.
The Goddess Depot. Because it's a safe place for women and lesbians and dykes particularly to come and hang out and have a place to see. The first thing that I ever noticed about the Rose is the fact that you have all the plate glass windows out front. You know, when I came here from the south, all of our bars are just dark rooms with a light bulb, and you're lucky if there is a front door. So it's wonderful to see the windows hang out to the street. People can look in and you can look out, and it's light, it's bright, it's warm. And I think that that's what the Rose is.
The time before you owned the bar, when we first came to Seattle, and we went to the Slipper, which was the other women's bar before the Wildrose. And a couple of the differences between the Slipper and the Wildrose is that the Slipper didn't have any windows in the front of it. It didn't have a name on the front of it. There was no way you even knew where the Slipper was until someone showed you during the day where the door was. There was no address. And I just want to remind you, I got getting arrested that night, or getting hassled that night by the cops for jaywalking. And I just want to, remind you that what you have now is such a beautiful progression from in the history of these bars.
Happened here over the years, both for individuals and for groups, and some of those groups are Women in the Trades, Lesbian Cancer Project, Erotica Shows, Butch Manifesto, Front Room Theater, a whole bunch of craft shows that Julia Kaplan organized for years and years, gay pride talent shows, open mics, jazz works, boxing, jello wrestling, and team sports, softball, pool, bowling, swimming, touch football, darts. Over the years, there's probably been 200 women artists who've shown their art on these walls. So, too many women to mention, but I'll mention a few anyway. Kate Jackrabbit Thompson, Rachel Maxey, Lynn McCracken, Willie, Zoe Harris, hundreds and hundreds of women who performed here. I want to mention a few of them and the groups. Girl Talk, Jazz Works, Julie Wolf, MJ Williams, Swamp Mama Johnson, Eva Las Vegas, Yvonne Eldris, Dos Flovia, Alex Dobkin, Carrera, Lamar Van Dyke, Lisa Cook, Annie DeFranco, who took over the Wildrose.
Come on. Good evening. Welcome to another interesting evening at the Wildrose. Tonight we've got jello wrestling.
Tall, and there was all this wood on the walls. And so when the bar closed about 2 o'clock, we all came down with our wonder bars and our hammers. And we started taking down the cottage cheese ceiling. And about 4 in the morning, Breyer says, "Oh my God, look what's up here." The bar. He had no idea that there was this beautiful wood bar behind with a twist. To my disbelief, she winked as she said it. And not like somebody's old auntie. When I brought it back to her, she said, "You know what this place is?" And I thought, here it comes. And she patted the seat next to me. I started to get all puffed up, ready to gently explain what kind of bar this was. As I said, I knew what to do in every situation. I would come to this bar in the 20s, you know, she said. And this was where the girls could be with each other, you know? I did a double take. She winked at me again. Uh-huh, she said. Giving me a little glare that said, "Shut up and you might learn something." But she would have never had to bother being that blunt. I settled meekly into my chair. Up there, and she pointed to the molding halfway up the wall, was a second floor. There were little tables we would sit at. The waiter would come by and you would say whatever your drink was with a twist. And that meant you were the kind of gal who wanted to be with other gals. And the waiter, he would bring other girls up there and we would all kind of sit together. It was a good place to sit because you could look down and see the ladies, you know? I looked around, suddenly seeing the lights twinkling, the beautiful women upstairs in their flapper dresses, looking down at someone like me maybe, in a suit and plastered down hair. Now that arch over there, she said, that was there in 1910 when I was a very little girl. I'd come in here and dance for pennies. That is the oldest arch. Don't you ever tear that down, she said sharply, looking right at me. I gulped. Briar and I had just been contemplating that arch. It was big and heavy, needed guy wires to support it. It cut off the attic space. It was way beyond retro. It was just a big pain in the ass. We've been talking about tearing the old fucker down. But of course we had to leave it there now. And of course, we've told that story to whoever's owned the place since, which might explain why it's still there. There's so many other things to remember from those first years. The night I threw out a whole fraternity. The week the fire marshals came in 3 separate times, always, oddly, during a performance. The amazing performers who played here and how the really good ones, who are now famous, never asked for anything special. But mostly I remember Briar and the other women who started the place making a safe haven here for women on either side of the bar.
Yeah.